One snowy evening, Wyatt and his girlfriend, Kimberly, share a sweet kiss in his car. When he gets a little too close, she gently pushes him away. He apologizes, saying he can't help it since it's their last night together before college. Kimberly reminds him that they've been faithful throughout high school and that their first time should be special, not in a car. She gives him a heart-shaped pendant and shows him hers made of steel. As they kiss, their pendants stick together. Suddenly, a cop knocks on the window, and when Wyatt opens it, Kimberly accidentally slips into his lap, making the officer raise an eyebrow. Weeks later, Wyatt writes a letter to Kimberly, sharing how much he misses her. He pins up their mugshots from that snowy night on his corkboard, feeling the distance as Valentine's Day nears. In class, he offers polite feedback on a peer's behavior. Later, he and his friends hear noises from the next room and learn about a local serial killer. One friend jokes about college women, and Wyatt defends Kimberly, but another friend hints that she might not be faithful. Before heading to the bar, they invite Wyatt to join them. Later, when he calls Kimberly, her roommate answers and says she had to ask Kimberly to leave for being too loud. The call ends suddenly, leaving Wyatt feeling uneasy. Thinking his girlfriend has cheated on him, Wyatt heads to a club to meet his friends. Soon, Ivy, a dancer, takes the stage. Wyatt tells his friends that Kimberly is still focused on her studies and can't believe she would betray him, especially since they've made future plans. To lighten the mood, Radish encourages him to keep drinking. They notice another dancer who is a student at their college and rumored to be dating a professor, so they call her over. Then, Snake starts to bother Ivy. Wyatt steps in, asking Snake to respect her, but he keeps pestering her, which leads to a conflict. The dancers ultimately kick Snake out. As Wyatt lies on the hood of a car, he sees a bouncer escort Ivy out after she's let go. He apologizes for his friend's behavior, and she thanks him for standing up for her. Not ready to go home, Ivy asks Wyatt to join her at a diner, and he agrees. At the diner, Wyatt opens up about his feelings for Kimberly, becoming emotional as he speaks. Ivy suggests he should break up with her, saying he deserves better. Later, in the library, Ivy dictates a breakup letter while Wyatt types it on a computer, getting ready to move on. They head to Wyatt's dorm, where Ivy suggests taking a funny picture to include with the letter. She thinks the letter needs to reach Kimberly quickly, so she recommends overnight delivery. The next day, Wyatt listens to a voice message from Kimberly explaining that Ricker is her friend's chihuahua she is dog-sitting. Realizing it was a misunderstanding, he rushes to Ivy's dorm. Ivy tells him it's not her problem. Wyatt mentions the picture and how Kimberly might post it online. They decide to go to the office to cancel the delivery. At the office, they find Turin, who still holds a grudge against Wyatt. After some back and forth, she agrees to help if he pays her $100. But when he realizes he forgot his wallet, she deletes the package details from the computer, making it impossible to cancel. Desperate, Wyatt talks to Hal, the driver in charge of the packages. Hal misunderstands and thinks Wyatt is a quality control agent, advising him to follow proper procedures. Later, Wyatt buys a plane ticket to Memphis, hoping to intercept the letter in time. Ivy sees their mugshot on the corkboard and comments that it's a long story. With only 10 minutes to reach the airport for his 9:15 flight, Ivy offers him a ride. On the plane, Wyatt starts to wonder why they haven't taken off. Suddenly, he notices police cars surrounding the aircraft. When his seatmate JD tells a disturbing story about his ex-wife, Wyatt realizes JD is the serial killer from the news. In a panic, JD smashes his champagne glass and takes Wyatt hostage. Outside, police surround them, and Wyatt manages to break free. He runs toward the front of the plane and escapes through an emergency exit. Wyatt climbs over a fence just as police arrest JD. He stands in the middle of the road and narrowly avoids Ivy's car. At a gas station, Wyatt asks Ivy to drive him to Memphis. She suggests going back to the airport to explain what happened, but he fears the FBI will detain him for too long, making him miss the letter. Just then, they see Hal's truck pull into the gas station. Ivy tells Wyatt to grab nail polish to cover the scratches on Hal's truck. She picks the lock to let him inside to find the package. Moments later, Hal comes back to his truck, and Wyatt hides on a shelf. As the truck pulls away, Ivy tries to get Hal's attention by driving next to him. It almost works, but Wyatt loses his balance and falls, alerting Hal that something is off. The car speeds off and Wyatt jumps onto Ivy's vehicle. Hal hits the brakes suddenly, causing Ivy to do the same. Wyatt is thrown off the hood and lands back on the truck, where Hal grabs the package. In the chaos, a fire extinguisher goes off, making Wyatt slip out of the truck and onto a nearby trolley. He finally lets go and ends up lying in the road. Moments later, Ivy pulls up and asks if he's all right. Wyatt gets up and starts blaming her for everything, insisting he doesn't need her help and can retrieve the package himself. After walking for a bit, he decides to take Ivy's offer for a ride to the airport in Iowa to catch a flight to Memphis. In the back seat, Wyatt changes into Ivy's clothes since his are damaged. He later shares that he and Kimberly have decided to wait until marriage, but Ivy finds it hard to understand how someone could commit to that without being intimate first. Wyatt makes it clear he's not marrying Ivy. She then doubts he'll ever be intimate with Kimberly, claiming a woman knows if she wants to be with a man from the start. Offended, Wyatt argues that just because she dates a professor doesn't mean she knows more about relationships. He calls her promiscuous, which leads Ivy to stop the car and remind him that her love life is her own business, and he should be thankful she's driving him. At the airline counter, Wyatt tries to explain that he was taken hostage by a serial killer. Wyatt is at the airport, frustrated that he can't get a ticket because he can't prove who he is. Feeling defeated, he almost gives up on everything, but Ivy snaps him out of it and tells him about a midnight flight from St. Louis. He counters that St. Louis is 400 miles away and he can't afford a rental car. Wyatt asks Ivy to drive him, but she wants $400 for expenses. Later, Ivy dreams of asking Wyatt why he took so long to see the right person was always there. Suddenly, Kimberly appears in a cheerleader outfit and shoots at them. When Wyatt tries to make a call on a payphone, Ivy distracts him with a cheer routine. Annoyed, he disconnects the call, and Ivy reminds him it's better this way since he wouldn't want to explain everything to Kimberly. They stop at a store so Wyatt can buy new clothes. As Ivy drives, Wyatt rests his head on her shoulder. She gently touches his hair, but when he starts talking about Kimberly, Ivy pushes him away. Wyatt soon notices Ivy has taken a shortcut off the highway. He suspects she's trying to keep him from reaching his package and thinks she might want Kimberly to read the letter because of her feelings for him. Wyatt, while flattered, insists he loves his girlfriend. Their argument distracts Ivy, and she hits a barrier, stopping at the edge of a cliff. When Wyatt gets out, he almost falls but catches the car. Ivy teases that she won't help him until he admits he has feelings for her. Worried for his safety, Wyatt says he loves Ivy, but she still doesn't help, and he falls a few feet down. After he climbs back up, he calls Ivy a good-for-nothing dancer. Upset, she punches him, causing him to stumble and accidentally push the car off the cliff into the river. They walk to a diner for dinner, sitting at separate tables without speaking. Eventually, Ivy asks the waiter to call Wyatt over. He apologizes for what happened, and she brushes it off, saying she has a new plan. Ivy plans to get tickets from her professor boyfriend for herself and Wyatt. After a meal, she suggests sneaking out through the restroom window since they can't pay. They're caught by the police and questioned about their feelings. Released on bail, Wyatt reveals he contacted Radich, not Kimberly. Later, they encounter Hal at a diner, and after sabotaging his truck, it explodes. Although the delivery fails, Hal still manages to drive off with it. The next day, they steal a drunk man's truck to finally reach Kimberly's campus in Memphis. Wyatt is thrilled and jumps on the truck to celebrate. As they say goodbye, he admits that the trip was wild and that he had a rough day. Even though they both have feelings for each other, he reminds Ivy that he promised to work things out with Kimberly, leaving Ivy a bit sad. It's Valentine's Day, and he can't waste time trying to stop the package, so Ivy encourages him to go after it. Meanwhile, Kimberly waits for a surprise from her boyfriend. A little later, Wyatt accidentally tackles the wrong guy, thinking he's Hal. He spots the real driver about to give the package to Kimberly and swings in through the glass door. When the driver tries to grab Kimberly, she hits him with a lamp. After the driver stumbles out, Wyatt kisses Kimberly, and she remarks that it's a different kind of kiss for them. But afterward, he realizes he's in love with someone else and breaks up with her. As he leaves, he bumps into a man, and their magnetic pendants stick together. The stranger confirms he's Ricker, revealing that Kimberly lied to Wyatt. Outside, Wyatt hands the package to Hal, letting him deliver it. Then, he runs after Ivy and admits his true feelings, giving her a bouquet of daisies. They finally share a passionate kiss. When Ivy jokes about his girlfriend, he throws the pendant on the ground and says he was just passing time until he found her.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and stay connected with us.